Well, I'm very pleased to have with me in studio Mr. Riggs Eckelberry. He is the CEO of OriginOil, OOIL is their stock symbol. Riggs, it's like having an old friend back in the program.
It's always a pleasure coming back on your show.
It's been a couple of years. I know a lot has gone on with OriginOil, but for those who have not seen you in the past, tell us what OriginOil does.
Very simply, OriginOil is a pure technology company. Think of it like Dolby Labs, where we have this critical technology that we are embedding in the industries that we're targeting. These are energy industries having to do with cleaning up, various processes and also growing algae for commercial purposes.
Now, I understand that you had some really exciting news here very recently, something about the awarding of a patent. Tell us about that.
Well, this is great because, patents take forever to award. Mm-hmm. And in a way, it's a good thing because as long as it's pending, you kind of have the clock is not started. Well, in Australia, on 6 September, the clock started for a 20-year period, which will guarantee our rights in Australia for this process that we first invented in April 2009 that is all about how to get algae, which is kind of like lemonade, how to get that lemonade out of the water and make it solid so it can be used commercially.
You know, when we first started talking to your company about 3 years ago, I have watched you become almost a global expert and a global source of information on the algae industry. How much has the algae industry changed since we last spoke with you?
The algae industry is transitioning from what is primarily a nutritional business, and it's a big one. These are billion-dollar companies that make algae for many nutritional reasons, to a much larger $100 billion market in energy. Now, in order to do that, it's got to move from a very energy-intensive mode, which is no good for energy. If you use more energy to make algae than you get out of it, then go back to petroleum. So moving from that energy-intensive mode to energy-balanced mode where very little energy is used to generate an energy-rich product. And remember, algae is, what we have as petroleum today is nothing more than old algae. So we can recreate petroleum today, fresh, on a very efficient basis if we have the right tools, and that's what we're bringing to the party.
Now, you mentioned oil industry, and I understand now that your company is involved in something to do with oil and gas. It's kind of fascinating when you read about it. Why don't you fill us in?
Okay. I'm going to tell you all about the algae stuff in a minute because it's very exciting. But what we found earlier this year was that the oil and gas industry is injecting vast amounts of water into the ground to break open oil formations, and it's also continuously using water to push petroleum out. And they have a big, big challenge with cleaning that water and recovering the petroleum and the chemicals. We found almost by accident that our process actually removes those small particles the same way it removes the algae particles from the water. Wow. It does it for the petroleum as well.
That's amazing. So here you are looking at using algae as a biofuel feedstock. And secondarily, part of your business now, you are helping the oil business, which someday you're going to be competing with, clean up their act.
We are all of the above.
I was thinking about your company earlier this summer when the drought was being talked about in the middle part of the United States, where they were saying if it wasn't for the fact that we had to put all this corn into biofuel production, we wouldn't have to worry about food prices going up and feedstock for cattle and that kind of thing. And this is what we were talking about in the past, is that algae can eliminate the use of food as a biofuel feedstock.
Algae really is the only biofuel in the end because it likes salt water, fresh water, brackish water, wastewater. Any kind of land, barren land. There's a new site in New Mexico that's using land that has been destroyed for, I think, apricot growth growing because of increasing salt in the aquifer. Algae doesn't care, and that's going to be the new energy crop.
So here we are now. We're almost 4 years into the development of this company. April 2013 will be basically your 4th anniversary of the invention, so to speak. Why is this a good time right now, Riggs, for people to be taking a closer look at your website, at your offering, at this company in general?
Okay. You've got these cycles in a company. At the outset, wow, exciting concept, isn't it great? And people are all fired up. Then the reality of developing a real technology kicks in. And it takes, obviously inspiration, but a lot of perspiration. We've had extensive piloting in the field of our technology, scaled it all the way up. We know that it works. That's what this 4 years has cost us, is basically this whole process of actually proving our technology. Today, I believe, is a great point where we're going to be turning the corner into these licensing activities, which have tremendous leverage for the company. And basically, it's a technology play. So this is the right time.
Fascinating. I know over the next several months we're going to be seeing a lot of you. Your company puts out tremendous amount of news and press releases. Looking forward to those updates during that period of time. Thrilled to have you back on the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Don.